everything's pretty good. We're getting things taken care of and whatnot. So, hey, it's going. It's coming along. So,
Nice.
no complaint, like I say. And I told you before, by the end of this, well, I say end of this month, in about a month's time, I'll be leaving out for San Diego. Come beginning of July. So, yeah.
Really? What's in San Diego? Nice, nice
Yes.
one, Chris.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, no. What's going on is no. I'm just. It's more vacation than anything.
Oh,
Because
nice.
someone was asking me, was it Comic Con? But it's not Comic Con. I wouldn't mind going to Comic Con, but I'm going out there to have an R&R, and there's some friends out there that I know that will
Yeah,
be up and stuff like that. So yeah,
nice. Are you flying out, driving out? What are you doing?
I'm actually flying. I'm actually flying for the first time. You
Good.
know,
Wow,
and
for the first time. Good for you.
yes, and believe it or not, I've never gone to California before. This is my first time
Yeah,
going.
I've never been to California. I've flown, but never been to California.
Okay, well, see, this is all
Nice.
new things to me.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm muted. Oh,
Yeah, no wonder. I'm like, I couldn't hear you. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay,
Wow.
yeah, no, it's an awesome mask though.
hell yeah.
That's great.
Okay. Yes.
It's my idea of the Invisible Man, but it only half worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shit.
I apologize now. I didn't brush up on those. So
What you think of this one?
Hmm.
Oh, like a side
Oh.
snapper. That's pretty creepy.
Jeez.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
side snapper. Yeah.
Side snapper.
I'm just happy to see everyone together and
It boils down being happy.
yeah. So, and actually, Jedi Grand Velle and I met through a mutual friend at G Fest,
Mm-hmm.
which
Oh,
I
okay.
think you guys, Dr. Tarr, Chris, I think you guys would. What was your nickname before on last time, Chris?
Springy.
Springy,
Springy. But you can call me Fuad for now.
Fuad, Fuad. Okay, Fuad. There you go. Fuad Ramses.
Perfect.
Egyptian king.
Fuad.
Fuad. Yeah, we met at G Fest,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, and we've been friends ever since. It was like, yeah,
Kind of hit it off there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Where's
Yeah.
G-Fest at?
Chicago.
In Chicago.
Chicago.
It's happening in a few weeks in
Yeah.
July. Yeah, it's grown to be a colossal convention. I mean, like last year they had what 7,000 people or something like that. It's almost too big.
Tell me about it.
I remember like in the early days, the very first one I went to, there were a couple hundred people, and the dealer's room was in like one really tiny little room. It was kind of packed in, and then it kept on growing and growing, and then when it hit like 2,000, it was a really nice size convention because it was still quaint and still comfortable and very intimate and but good enough to get some attention. But now it's just colossal.
It's
Too
So,
big. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, back in the early days, you could when guests came, you didn't have to pay for the autographs. Like usually that was like they would get paid from part of the ticket sales, and you could just get things signed for free.
Okay.
And now you pay for the autograph and things like that. It's more like a traditional convention in those terms.
Actually, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I mean, you're paying to see the actors.
No, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
And the tickets were usually pretty cheap. I mean, I think the last time I paid for a ticket for an autograph, it might have been like $10 or something. It was still really cheap, compared to like what you find at conventions here in the States.
Yeah.
When I met Michael Bean, I had to pay $60.
What?
That's not too
But
bad.
I got a picture.
Sorry,
a
Michael Bean. Don't like
signature,
you
and a
that
selfie.
much.
You got a picture and a
I got all
selfie
three. I got a
for
signature,
$60.
a picture,
That's
and a
not bad.
selfie. No, it
I
really
could do a
isn't.
Dr. Tar photobomb. That would be
I had to
someone
be
go up there.
Hicks.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, man.
No, that's cool. What's your favorite Michael Bean role?
Ooh,
That's a good question.
probably Hicks.
Okay.
Or no, I take that back. The Abyss, when he went nuts.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you know this, Fuad. I went to Chiller, the big convention in New Jersey, a couple, probably, well, that was over a decade ago. And I went there because it was all three of the main suit actors were there. Haru Nakajima and Ken Satsuma and Tom Kitagawa were all there. Plus, Miss Deborah Gibson and Hulk Hogan and
Oh, cool.
Joel Hodgson from
Wow.
MST3K, and then
Oh, dog.
That's pretty cool.
Smithereens played a free concert that night, and
Huh.
and the cast of Aliens was there. And I'm like, this is what a great convention,
Wow.
So if I had if Tiffany were there, I would have bought a copy of was it Mega Piranha or whatever, Mega the snake versus the anaconda, whatever. I would have had them sign it. But I did see Hulk Hogan, and he said, "Hey, brother." So like that's pretty cool. And I got to talk with Joel Hodgson from MST. We talked a little bit about that and our favorite episodes, and then seeing all the three of the suit actors, which was really cool. But that night, the Smithereens were going to play a free concert, which I was very excited about. This is in New Jersey, so I'm sitting there, and I get a tap on my shoulder. It's Pat, the singer for the Smithereens. He like tapped me on the shoulder, like, "Hey," and he like walked by me. I'm like, "Oh, they're to walk onto the stage." I'm like, "Hey, that's pretty cool." And then while we're playing, my friend who's with
He
me,
told me to get out of the way.
yeah, get that out of the way. My friend who's with me, he's like, "The cast of Aliens is right behind us," and I turn around and it's Vasquez and who's the other heavy weapons?
Drake.
Bishop?
Mark,
No,
not Bishop.
Drake.
Drake.
Drake, yeah.
Yeah, Drake. There's Drake and Vasquez are right behind me. I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, oh my God. I go, hey guys. And Drake goes, man, I love the Smithereens. I'm like, yeah, me too. I go, this is awesome. A free concert. I'm like, holy crap. I'm hanging out with a crew of aliens and we're watching the Smithereens together. And Pat walked by, tapped me on the shoulder, like, I can't get much better than that.
I mean, when was this? I mean, this is like early 2000s,
It was
late
like 2014 or something like that.
Oh, was it? Okay. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Well, the guy that actually, I mean, Michael Biehn was cool. He was, I talked to him and he was real like receptive. But the one who actually I got to talk to for a while, and I only had to pay like $30 to like get a picture, was Michael Ironside, and he was really cool, like a really cool dude.
Mhm.
Like he reminded me of Rod.
Oh, okay.
You mean Mr. C at the party, Victor? Huh?
I mean, he kind of looks like Rod now too, but that creeped me out. But yeah, he was very like knowledgeable of like old science. We talked about old science fiction novels and shit. It was really cool.
Nice. It's nice when you kind of have that connection with someone, could talk about
especially
something.
someone who's always been really mean on the screen.
Yes, he does play a good guy.
What's the 3D sci-fi 80s Destruction
Scanner?
of Jared Sin? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Where he plays like what do they call him? The overdog. He's like this cybernetic whatever.
Oh,
it's like, but it's in 3D.
Movies.
So when they were starting to come out with the 3D movies again, early 80s.
Nothing beats Jaws 3D coming through the screen, man. I was terrified.
I watched that yesterday. It is such a terrible movie. I love it. I do.
Most 3D movies are pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, we did a whole episode on that, called Bite Me Jaws, where we talked about them. I love watching Jaws 3D. It is a terrible movie, but I love it. I like I have to be in the mood for it, but yeah.
Look who you're talking to. Bad movies.
I know. Dr. Tarr, we just celebrated 302 episodes of Unsane Radio. Yeah, a lot of bad movies under the bridge, including episode 301, Don for Dean. Not a good movie.
Did you know that May 25th marked 50 years since Jaws came out?
Are they going to bring it back in the theater for a brief?
Well, I know they are at a few places down in Texas where Ben is. They're doing it at a lake where you sit in inner tubes.
That's what I would like to do. That would be fun.
They should have hire actors to swim under there and like grab you and like poke you.
I was gonna say then it'd be like the William Castle thing,
Right? Exactly. Yes.
Or a party beach thing going on.
Yes, that would be awesome.
That's what they should show before, and then Jaws.
Right.
Yes. So they have to sit through it.
Right.
You have to enjoy this.
I can't believe it's been 50
I
years.
like Horror Party Beach.
Oh, I do
So much dancing. It's so much bad dancing.
Hmm.
But I took
And
a
some
lot
of
of
the
cues from
worst
that for Monster
gang
Party
fights.
Beach. I mean, there's a reason why I called it Monster Party Beach. So,
Oh, I'm sure.
but yeah,
What's party without dancing?
exactly.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it'd be like a white soul
Or-
train down there.
Yes, the
Mhm.
zombie stomp.
hmm So, all right, I'm gonna hit a hail for this as soon as it unclogs, and then we'll get going.
Okay.
Well, okay, I'll take the cue.
Wait a minute. We weren't recording before.
Oh, we're recording. We're just not live. I mean, this is all
Oh, okay.
preamble, but we're not like recording the show.
I got you. No, that ain't no big deal.
Oh, you guys
I
are
mean,
committed now.
This will all still be part of the show,
Mhm.
So it'll all just be before I do the official introduction.
Right.
So I'm sorry,
Officially.
were you guys like all big Godzilla aficionados? Or?
Save it for the podcast.
All right.
He said, "Save it."
All right.
I'm
No,
just going to talk about how awesome
I'm guilty
Angulus
of that.
is and how he saves the day constantly.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Okay, I'm going to do my amazing intro, and then we will get right into it. And then, Dr. Tarr, you can ask with that wonderful, most potent question. Okay, smoke him if you got him.
It's most potent.
That's right. I know, Jedi, we got to get you up here and get you into Michigan and get you loaded up with some cannabis, my friend.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
We
Bring
are
your
all
luggage.
we are all
Empty
three of us are
luggage.
smoking pot right now, so it's good.
Oh, okay. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I see. I need to join the party for sure.
I know you. Yes, you need to welcome you to the club. Now, I remember Jedi at G Fest. Well, I'll
I'm
say for the
sending you a
podcast,
virtual high. Sorry.
we that's when you had your first cigar, right?
Yes, that was my very first one. Yes.
That's right. Yeah,
Mhm.
we'll get you.
And
We'll
it
get you
turned out
set
to
up, my
be a
friend.
blunt. So it's just like
Yeah, we'll get you set up with some good stuff.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
all right, well, here I go.
Okay.
This is JP Abood of Traveler and Among These Ashes, and you are listening to the Heavy Metal and Horror Podcast.
I am Montag, Master of Illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always. And you are watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Oh, kitties, welcome to Heavy Metal Horror. Tonight we're going to be talking about Godzilla, and we got some special guests. You recognize Dr. Tarr. Yes, from Unsane
guest.
Radio. Special guest,
Okay.
Dr. Tarr, who was here last time, and also Fuad, who was here before, the mask maker Fuad, and Jedi Grand Velle, who you may also recognize from his own YouTube channel. Gentlemen, welcome to Heavy Metal Horror.
All right. Thank you for having me. This is a treat for me.
Well, we're gonna have a
why
lot
is
of
your
fun.
studio so much bigger?
That's right. Because yes.
Right.
Well, that's how I get the big bucks. I put it into the entertainment value.
Mm-hmm.
Gadfly and Feather know about this?
That's right. Dr. Tarr, you were asking questions of our new illustrious guest, Jedi Grand Velle, and also Fuad. You were asking about them and their Godzilla fandom.
Yeah. Are you guys? I don't know. I don't consider myself super knowledgeable about it, but I don't know. Are you like into it, or have you been into it? Well, obvious if you went to G Fest, but I guess.
Well, personally, I've been into Godzilla since the mid '70s.
Being me too.
So I mean, I've been liking Godzilla since I could walk. So
yeah,
that's it.
Okay, all right. That's all I need to know. That's because that's kind of like I am.
I was born in 1982, and as soon as I realized what Godzilla was,
Giant
that's
monsters,
what I wanted to grow up to be.
Okay.
See?
All right.
I didn't care about growing up to be an astronaut. I wanted to grow up and be Godzilla.
Well, I want to be the astronaut that had to. Yeah, long story, but anyway.
You want to be astronaut Glenn?
Yeah.
Yeah,
getting all the girls.
No
Yeah,
shit.
that's right. He gets all the women. That's the
That's
thing. He's
right.
like
And she's
Bert.
hot too. She's
Yes. As Takarada would say, Horny Nick would call him Horny Nick, yes, when he was at G-Fest. Well, you know, we're going to start with this freewheeling discussion. We may keep it in the Showa era, and for you kids who've known nothing about Godzilla, we'll talk about that. Godzilla has different eras of films, and the first era is called the Showa film era, and this goes from 1954 to 1974. And it begins with the original Godzilla or Gojira. So I guess we'll start there. Gojira. Um, this is a really dark and wonderful film. It's one of the best monster movies I think of all time, giant monster movies, and also really strong anti-war movie. It's a very powerful film, and if you've not seen it,
no,
you deserve to see
yeah.
it.
The very first time I've ever saw it, it was the one with Raymond Burr. It was the American version,
The American.
King of Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And now, in my defense, you know, being a little kid, that was the only thing you got to see at the time.
Right.
That's what was on.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, as far as those things go, where they shoot American scenes and put into a movie like that, that really wasn't that bad. I mean, at least they made some kind of effort. You know what I mean? To blend it, they had
Now,
to
some
create
of the
to
same
create a
actors.
story arc, because you
Mhm.
hear
What
it
was the
from the
purpose?
aftermath. It's all a flashback.
Right.
You
But
know?
it doesn't seem so, yeah, I don't know. I
What
mean,
was
as
the
far as
purpose
putting
of
American
adding?
scenes in.
What was that, Fuad?
What was the purpose of even adding Raymond Burr into it?
For the American
To make it,
audiences?
yeah,
Just for
Any
the American
non-Japanese audience? Yeah, when it was
50s kids audience,
yeah.
you know, kind of,
yeah,
and kind of dampen the atomic, you know, depression, you know,
Yeah.
the sadness and the
yeah.
seriousness of the
It's still a
movie,
heavy
too.
film, but you know, it keeps some of the elements, you know,
But
the
it kind of diverts from the American.
yes, it's not
It's
nearly
only
as
what?
dark and political as
It's
the
what, 9
Japanese
years?
version.
9 years later? It came out in 54, right?
54, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So 9 years after the bomb was
Right.
dropped.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, because it
So,
was
yeah,
really focusing on a couple things, where the concept of these giant monsters like the beast from 20,000 fathoms was out, and then but
Mhm.
also there was, you know, all the hydrogen bomb tests were going on, the Bikini Atoll and those things, and you know, a lot of radioactive fish and people getting sick,
Mhm.
and so it was under these conditions that this concept
And, you know, it
making
was popular, and he
Oh
was
yeah,
looking to make some money here.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
It
know.
was well received too.
And remember
yeah,
this, you know, the boat Lucky number 7, you know, involved itself in the
yeah.
testing of nuclear testing, and that was the thing that got it ramped up to make the film in the first place. You know, I mean, it was true enough that they was going by just doing the symbol of saying, let's discuss a story where atomic, you know, testing is affecting human, you know, populace.
There's a
But
couple of them like that. And I liked them all. What was it? H-Men?
oh
Mhm,
They
yes,
kind of go through a fallout area, and
mhm.
Matango, wasn't, you know, that
oh
was in there.
yes, I love Montag.
Yes.
Wasn't there another one? I thought there was another one, but I could be wrong.
There, as you say, there's
Anyway.
plenty of them. I mean, I think even I mean, not ants, but them kind of explored that a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, the atomic
Yeah.
radiation was the like instigator, the catalyst for all the stuff. You know, the giant Gila monster,
50s.
Earth versus the spider, them, any of those, like, you know,
The
giant.
amazing colossal man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the amazing colossal
But,
man
you
was
know,
the precursor to the Hulk.
Yeah.
See,
If
now
they
that
just had
gamma radiation.
slightly better effects, that would have been cool.
Oh,
the
Just-
thing is about Godzilla that is different, at least in my eyes, is if you look at the, you know, them or the colossal man or any of those irradiated monsters, they don't have the malice that Godzilla had in the original,
sure.
the intent. It seems like they were kind of just, I'm a giant bug wandering around doing what a giant bug would do.
Well, you know, I kind of disagree, because I like him being cold and just animalistic at first. You know, when you first,
Sure.
all he does is just come out and literally yeah. They kind of did that in Shin Godzilla too, where he's just this
But that's what I mean.
just there.
There's
Yeah.
a malice to him.
nature, force of nature. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
kind
what
of
I
thing.
mean. Like,
Yeah.
there's something more intimidating and just I don't know. I mean, it's
Because
not
even
like
before you
he's going
see
out of
him,
his
he
way.
wrecks boats. Like the first time you see a sign of Godzilla, it's the boiling water and the ship that gets blown up and everyone dying. And that's all you see: the sea boiling up and lighting up. Before even Godzilla makes any appearance on Odo
Oh,
Island.
and they have his roar, which
Yeah,
is when you're a little kid, was probably one of the coolest things you ever
It's
heard.
still
And it's
cool.
like you tried to tell your friends what that roar sounded like, and you can't.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
Yep.
God.
Yep.
And then any other Japanese monster after that was like, what the fuck, Japan?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, well, let's be honest. I mean, Godzilla Raised Again was nothing more than a instant cash grab, and it came out
Oh
like
yeah,
after that.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Now, for those of
That's
you who
my-
don't know, I was on Jedi Grand Velle's podcast just not too long ago, and we talked about Godzilla Raids Again. So, Jedi, while we're here, can you let everyone know, remind us what your podcast is?
Yes. Well, my podcast is nothing more than exploring different, and it's not just for kaiju or tokusatsu films. It's like basically any topic that deals with, you know, film related, film related oldie films or current films today, but ones that are more potent to viewing. Because let's be honest, the stuff that they have nowadays, you can rarely find a diamond in the rough. I mean, can you agree with me that some of the stuff that Hollywood is peddling out right now is pure shit? Okay,
Most?
Oh, yeah. I think it's been that way for a while.
Excuse
but
me if I'm
that's
saying profane words, but I'm
No,
sorry.
you can say shit, you can say fuck, you can say anything.
You
Well,
can say
I
it.
thank
Yeah.
you, because the fucking shit they put out.
There
is
you go.
bullshit.
You just can't say fucking shit. No.
Okay,
Oh my God.
but
Christ.
no, but I know I say watch your words, sir.
No, it's good.
No, but my channel pretty
We're
much
very
deals-
cathartic.
Yes, but no, it's exactly, but no, it deals into basically the films of years, the ones that actually had some meaning, and like I say, one of them on the list is much of the Godzilla or Showa era films of the day of those times, and anything tokusatsu related, and as I say, the films that we grew up on, I know for a fact they have more consistency and giving a story, focus on characters and what's so. And like I say, some of them were instant crash grabs, like I mentioned about
Yeah.
Godzilla Raised Again.
Let's talk
Oh,
about that. But
no.
before we do,
They
what's the
all
name
are,
of your
but that's
what's the name
okay.
of your
That's-
channel? Your podcast? What's that called? What's that channel called? Jedi? Your channel?
Oh, my channel. Oh, it's called Jedi Grand. Well, it's called Jedi Grand Velle, but it's officially Jedi Grand Velle Productions. So that's
All right. Excellent.
So
We'll come
that's
back
on
around.
YouTube?
It's on YouTube. That's right.
It's
We'll
on
come back
YouTube.
around for all that because Fuad has a business as well.
Oh,
Yes. Polaris
But,
Breach FX.
Yes.
I guess I'm also looking at this as I like the Godzilla stuff. Obviously, I sat there and watched them all, but I also associate all the other Toho movies that are not Godzilla movies. You know what I mean? The other sci-fi. I still kind of lump it all into this, and you know what I mean? Because my viewing experience with all of them was kind of happening at the same time.
Sure.
Like after they kind of in their timeline or whatever, they kind of pull in some dubious strings, like pulling in Etrigan and all that stuff. He's like, whatever.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing. I
And
mean,
Manda.
yes, I mean, exactly. I mean, you think about it. Godzilla was, I love Godzilla. I love it for what it is, but thankfully, it led me to explore different aspects
The
of
other stuff. Yeah. And it's pretty
Sure.
cool.
Yeah, it was all monster movies for me, whether it was a Godzilla or a Mummy or Matango. I knew by the names when I read as a kid in the TV guide, like, okay, that's really cool. I didn't know how many movies were out, but anytime that I saw I had a cool title or science fiction or I'd read the scroll, I definitely would watch them.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, Attack the Mushroom People or Matango is still a freaky movie. It is still a really effective, creepy, slow burn movie. And
I'm sorry. I
it
love the movie.
scared
I
me
love
away
the
from
movie.
mushrooms. I have never
Now
willingly eaten a
listen.
mushroom
Now listen.
in my whole
I,
life.
I've always
That movie
loved that
scared
movie.
me shitless.
You.
I know exactly. I know what will happen. Yeah, and I remember Kenji Sahara was at G Fest. He plays the guy and who's the criminal, the guy with has a tooth out.
Yes.
Great
And you
character
ordered
role.
him a mushroom pizza.
Well, no, I asked him about that. I said, that tooth, I go, did you have a tooth out? He goes, no, he went to the dentist and had it pulled for the movie because he thought the guy should have a tooth missing. And when he was done with the movie, he had it put back in.
What the
But
fuck?
I told him,
Sorry.
I said,
That's
I
just
saw
acting.
Attack of the Mushroom People when I was 8 years old, 7 or 8. And I said, it scared me so bad that to this day, I've never eaten a mushroom. And he just
But
laughed. He just thought that
you
was the
know what
funniest thing in the
really
world.
frustrated me in that movie though when I was little, and it still does today too. That
Oh,
whole scene where the first mushroom guy you see walking down the hall, then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
he opens up and everybody reacts, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden they get to him and he just fades away.
Yeah.
hmm
All
It's
right.
like, what
Where did
happened
they
there?
go?
They all weren't high yet on the mushrooms, so
Yeah.
or maybe were they because of all the
Sporulating.
spores and
Spores.
I don't know. It was just frustrating to me. It was just, but there's a couple of, and in a
Issues
lot of
with
these
that.
movies, there's a couple of scenes that do that. As the logic is different than what I would, you know what I mean? There's specific logic
Look,
loops.
that's the thing about you got to realize with films is that
Yeah,
film logic is
I know.
completely different from real logic, and it's
Yes.
I know.
even I
I get
question.
it. And then when you throw in that it's a different logic, and it's just okay, whatever.
Mhm.
But just saying.
Right.
It's all good. Well, we can talk a little bit about Godzilla raids again because that's a very different feel. It came out a year later, and I believe Jedi Grand Velle. Yeah, you mentioned it feels like a cash grab. It was done kind of quickly. Um, Here we have a direct sequel to the events of the original Godzilla, and
Is this supposed to be a different Godzilla or the same one?
well,
It is. It's
it's a
supposed to be
different
a.
Godzilla.
Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause there's a whole species of Godzillasaurus, this kind of thing. And so this other one shows up. I guess that explains why he looks a little different, because the
The
suit,
leaner.
it is a little leaner because you have more now. You have wrestling, and they
Yeah.
had a year to perfect the suit a little bit. It was still pretty
Oh,
heavy.
and yeah, and he's actually fighting another monster,
Yeah, we
which is
see
a first.
another
Yeah.
appearance. We have C. Anguillus show up. That's just
Yes, Anguillus, Anguillus,
yeah,
the punching
Angerus.
bag.
There's all sorts of names.
yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah, Jedi Grand Velle and I had a good, really good talk about this movie. Quite
Yes.
thorough, and it's a really
It's
that's a good
amazing.
episode.
Like I say, it's amazing how that film, as I say, well, just like the original Godzilla and this film, it's funny how 70 years have gone by since the iteration of those films, and you think to yourself, "Damn, it's been that long." I mean, like what's going to come next is going to be 70 years old. But
Yeah.
Right.
to me, this is, and I'm not trying to say that's the thing about it. It just makes me say, "Oh shit, I'm getting old."
Yes, we are getting old. Well, and you got
Do you
and
know the first time I saw is when there's only the three channel. Well, no, we had cable. I remember that because this is on channel 50 out of Detroit, but it was like during the election or something, and like you would not all the other channels, like the main channel, CBS, all that stuff, was all political. The elections happening. So they're telling. 50 was one of the few channels that had like what they call it, the unconvention convention or whatever it was. But anyway, they were showing movies at a specific time, and Godzilla was like the first one that came up. 1950. That's the first time I ever saw it, and it was just
oh, nice.
just saying.
No, it's good.
No, I mean that's
Yeah, and I like Godzilla Raids Again. I didn't see that until I was in my 20s because that movie
Right.
was never available. Then we heard like, oh, there's a Gigantus, there's a fire monster because we always went from Godzilla. The next one we knew was Godzilla versus King Kong versus Godzilla '62. We didn't know that there was anything in between other than like Rodan and Mothra.
What they call it here? Fire monsters or
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gigantus.
Gigantus, the fire monster. So it
And
was our mutual
and I was gonna,
friend Tim
yeah,
being
I was gonna say,
Jenna.
I was gonna say that was a thing. Actually skipped over that one to go to King Kong versus Godzilla because, in a way, yeah, that was a whole different movie. But if you think about it, yeah, it is a different Godzilla because it's not the same one from the original. So in a way, it was. But like you, I didn't see it until the early '90s. So yeah.
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 Yeah, the tone's a little lighter on Godzilla Raids Again. It's focusing more on a family. You see the business and the effects of Godzilla and the effects post-war. I mean, it's just an analogy for this is post-war life in Japan. So you really kind of get that, and that's what I like about it. There is a personal touch. to the story that I thought that you didn't really get too much. Fuad?
Oh yeah, no, it's a classic. I remember I didn't see it for a while because I didn't know it existed, like you said. But by then I had already seen Angulus. Is that it? I always say it wrong.
Anguillus.
Angulus. I remember
Anguirus.
seeing him. By the time I saw that, he was already established in my head as Godzilla's ride or die. Because he would always show up and either be used as a weapon or at least deflect some blows,
Yeah.
so, and then
Right.
get his ass kicked. And so
Or
when I went
explain
back
the
to watch
stock
that,
footage, yeah. So I think-
yeah, I was like, I thought he was his buddy.
What's,
But,
what's
you
the
know,
one
I-
where? What's the one where they talk?
That's-
Angulus.
Is that Gigan?
It's
Yeah.
That's
Gigan.
where yeah.
They have the cartoon bubbles.
Yes,
both
that
talk
has
back
got
and
to be
forth.
the weirdest iteration I've ever seen. And I mean,
Oh no,
Anguillus.
it's yeah. I was gonna say the
Why do you know
American or the English dub one is
It's
probably
it's
greater.
kind of bad. I mean, in the Japanese version, there's like, there's still talking, but it's like monster screech. You have no
Oh,
idea.
but yeah, it's like sounds like someone.
Yeah, someone's scraping a pan.
yes,
Yeah. But yes, well, but I one of my favorites is the next one, 1962's King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yes. Well,
I absolutely love this movie because it is, so many different things. First, it went to widescreen and it's in color. They intentionally use humor. I mean, the Kong suit is ridiculous. I mean, there's so many things. But it's still one of my favorites of the whole series because I've watched it so many times. Yeah, I just like it. I like the tone.
I did when I was little. I did not like it.
Oh no, really?
Well, I thought it'd be really cool, King Kong and Godzilla. Yeah, but when I was little, I thought Kong looked stupid as shit, and it was just like, oh come on, you can do a little better on Kong. Come on, like when he's like beating his chest and it's like that half arm thing. Come on, and I love those effects, but they've never did Kong right. I don't care what movie they did. They've never done Kong right. But
did him dirty.
But I like the movie. I like the original version of it better in Japanese and stuff. The humor comes through so much better. Then I like the music better too with the original score.
Yeah,
I would say if you're talking about Kongs that actually look good, I thought Rick Baker's Kong was kind of fantastic for what it was. Yes. Because of the human eyes.
And that's Rick Baker in that costume, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was that? King Kong Returns?
No, that was
just King Kong 76.
Yeah, 76.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I saw that as a little kid, and I was all hyped up to see that robot.
Yeah, I was excited about it. I could tell the bad sets and the bad lighting. Even as a kid, I was 9. I'm like, oh Jesus, this looks ugly.
Right.
But I get it. I have a hard time watching Kong just because I know what happens at the end. And I like the way Peter Jackson's film like shows this. He's just a big, intelligent creature who's just in the wrong environment. And I don't like that he has to pay for it with his life, And so yeah.
That's why they made Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah, and that's another tearjerker, that and Son of Kong.
I like the Ray Harryhausen one. That I really like.
So
that
when you first saw Godzilla versus Kong, who were you rooting for?
Okay, Godzilla. For sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't care, but you knew logically it would be Godzilla kicking his ass, and it was just like.
As a kid, I didn't know there's this continuity, there's the stories, there's the order, it was just like,
right.
I went back and forth between watching a movie like Son of Godzilla or, where Godzilla is like the good guy, and then like watch Mothra versus Godzilla or Godzilla, the original Gojira. I'm like, why is Godzilla mean here? Why is he bad here when he's clearly, he's almost as good as Gamera in this movie? I could never figure that out.
Oh yeah, and this one he's kind of mean, and he looked his crocodile look.
Yeah, very reptilian. Yeah, crocodilian is a good way because he also changes a lot in Mothra versus Godzilla. The suit goes through another
and his little clapping when he does thinks he's doing good.
Yeah, there's a lot of silliness, but the wrestling element is what I love. I love that
Oh
so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Sure.
And there's that, and the humor, even in the fighting,
Oh
like
yeah,
when
and
Godzilla
they
breathes fire, like on Kong's like on his dick, and he's like looking down, like, "Hey, you know, it's like
and he
my
has
junk,
those-
you burned
I'm
my
sorry,
junk."
and that's where those arm extensions look so stupid. It's like when
Yeah.
he's like patting at it. That's
Yeah.
just,
Like,
Those
right.
were so annoying in my mind. You know, I'm just like, I'm looking at that. It's like, I know in real life, the appendages of arms.
yeah, and I really want to like it too.
But
That's just
good
what I
God,
can't.
dude. I mean, you could just tell, like, dude, I mean, are these going anywhere?
Yes.
Oh, and they give him a superpower too. You know, like where he could soak up
Yes.
electricity.
Yeah, the electrical
Yep,
charge,
electrical Kong.
which I thought was always very weird.
Okay, that's
You know?
convenient. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
But I mean, I love the you know the soma, the juice. When I watched the fight with the octopus, I just feel bad that the octopus was being forced to fight him.
They
You
ate it
know, and they ate
afterwards,
him
from what I
afterwards,
hear.
right? I
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, he didn't want any of that.
No, they're intelligent. They're intelligent aliens.
Take it up with the union.
Absolutely.
But there's something about this movie it's one of those, like, it's comfort food to me. You know, I have it on my sleepy
Oh
time.
yeah, it's fun.
On my sleepy time playlist, where I hear that music and I just hear, you know, the beginning. When I look at the sets on the American
dream of
stuff, all
yourself
the
as
UN stuff,
Kong.
it's so cheesy. It's like,
Pass it out on the
here's
third.
a folded flag. We didn't even take time to like iron out the wrinkles. We're just gonna tack it to a board and go. You know,
Yeah.
the sets are so cheap. It's so, you know, the American
He's talking
stuff,
about the American,
the American version. Yeah, it's
yes.
like, which I
That's
love.
funny
You know,
that you.
Well, you
That's
know,
funny that
and
you
I've
say-
also noticed you have to see a really good print of that too. Yeah, you're right. The American version is like the blue screen really, all the defects really pop out. You know, you see double shot, yeah, but you see a really nice, cleaned up, you know, actual copy of it.
Mhm.
It looks a lot better. I mean, it
Yeah.
looks a lot better than what I.
That's funny that you say that is on your. It's like a comfort food
Mhm.
because there's a Godzilla movie that's also one of my like comfy sleepy time, and it's Godzilla versus what was his name? The sea monster.
Ibra.
Oh, Ibra.
Ibra.
Ibra,
Yeah. That one. Yeah, that one.
Mhm.
I like that one. It was fun.
Yeah. No, I get
No, I
it.
like
A lot of
that one
people
a lot.
don't like that one. They just, yeah. But
Really?
that was
It's got
supposed
that
to be a
awesome
Kong
rock and
movie.
roll music and that dance.
Yes.
Oh, it's
dance,
fantastic.
dance
And the
guitar.
dance in the beginning, yeah, the dancing in the beginning, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
Bum, 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 that
Actually, I would think
jazz
with the
guitar.
volleyball sequence was something that would distract me. I actually like that part, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I do too. And it's just, you knew that was supposed to be a King Kong movie.
yes, that was the thing. It was originally
And
supposed
that explains what all the Godzilla silly stuff, that waking up in the cave and the
Mhm.
electricity, you know, all that stuff.
and then we have
Oh.
that scene where it's like some love interest between
Oh
Godzilla.
yeah, they
Like,
I
suggest
didn't
it.
I didn't know it
but
was supposed to be Kong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was supposed to be Kong.
it was written for that. Then they just decided not to do it. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's
Now,
supposed
really
to
had
be-
they gone that route, I wonder would they change the tone of the picture. I don't know. I mean, we can never say.
Oh, I think it would have been kind of cool, but you know,
Hmm.
Kong just didn't make it. They would have come up with another shitty suit.
Well,
Just
well,
like
I
in
will.
King Kong Escapes.
Now, I was going to say, which one do you think is more shittier than the other one in the?
Oh, I don't know. For whatever reason, I like King Kong Escapes better than I do
Kong versus
Kong. You know,
Godzilla.
yeah. And I don't know why. They're both goofy.
yeah,
It's
there's something about the face though in the Godzilla versus Kong one that it just makes me cackle.
just they've got these weird conical heads that are just
Yeah, it just looks like he's
yeah.
smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and King Kong Escapes his big old googly eyes, especially when he like flutters these eyelids, you know, like when he wakes.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's
Then you put-
great.
and-
That's so awesome.
And you get Mechanicong.
Oh yes,
was
I think
awesome.
I liked it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was the first one I saw on a big screen.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my first giant monster movie on a big screen. I think.
Really?
Oh, really?
Okay.
I think my first one was Godzilla 2000.
Mine as
That was,
well.
that was the first time I saw it, other than going to G Fest, like
Mhm.
but G-Fest was projecting DVDs. That was probably it was probably maybe the first time on a big screen that I might have seen a Godzilla movie at G-Fest. But like as far as released in the theaters in the States, I didn't like back in the late 70s. I remember Godzilla versus Megalon came to the drive-in. It was on a double bill with something else. I remember when they came out, but I just never went to go see them. So
Because I know when you mentioned drive-in, my first iteration of seeing a Godzilla film on the big screen was a drive-in, and that was Godzilla versus Gigan, but it was called at that time Godzilla on Monster Island. It was retitled at that time.
Oh yeah.
So,
But-
and that was the late 70s, and like I say, it was a real treat, because you seeing Godzilla literally bleed to death, get.
Oh my god, is that the one where what is it? Anguirus gets buzzsawed by
Yes, in the
Yeah.
nose. Like, dude, goodness
The
gracious.
Oh my
bloodshot,
God,
money
it's
shot
rated-
right
it's
in the
rated
camera.
G, and
Yeah.
that's probably one of it's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
that's
it's an
more
Anguillus money
traumatic
shot.
That is a money shot.
Yeah, it's traumatizing.
Absolutely.
Because
Oh,
that was
man,
cut
that's
from the
deep.
TV versions as a kid, and I was much later in life, probably my 20s, when I first saw the uncut version with the blood gush. And the same thing with Terror Mechagodzilla. When
Is
you
that
actually
the
see the
one where
one with like the
It hits
nudity.
the lens though too. It's like
Yeah,
just-
and in the Terror Mechagodzilla, they cut out that whole scene because you have the android, but it's a female android, so she's got she's nude. And they cut that part. And then I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, I had never seen that part either. So it was kind of
well,
cool to
even
like
their TV shows, even little kid shows that has some gory stuff. I mean, just yeah,
That's monster blood, though.
60s, 70s, huh?
Mhm.
Well, they say it's pretend, so that's why I say it's not so bad. I mean, if you see something getting gored out of their minds, it's like it's okay. The kids can handle it. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
Sure,
it's
yeah.
monster
Yeah.
violence. We all turned out
We'll
our
just change the color of the blood to
Fine.
blue. It'll be fine.
I mean,
So
you could
it's-
say, look, if you
like camera.
look, if you
Yeah.
can remember the original Johnny Quest cartoons,
Oh yeah,
they were literally like
they
these
were
are silent
brutal.
Terrible.
That was like
I love Johnny
I
Quest.
love Johnny Quest. That was my thing when I was little kid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that Mummy. The Mummy one's
Oh, yes.
awesome. Yeah, and it's such a great show. It's such
I
a
like
very
the
cool
invisible
show.
monster one and the spider. The
Yeah,
robot
the
spider
mechanical
one.
spider one is really cool. It's just such a great show. But so not the next Godzilla movie, 1964, Mothra versus Godzilla,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
some regard as like one of the most beautiful of the Godzilla films. So there is some beautiful cinematography in this one. This too is another favorite. This is also on my sleepy time list. And it has my
this is a good
absolute
one.
favorite shot of all Godzilla movies. The opening, you see this like tempest coming through, big storms coming through, and the next shot you see this kind of like shot that pans to the left, and you see a line of these big like yellow pumps pumping
Yes.
water out from this
That,
flooded area.
yeah.
But it's a gorgeous looking set. I mean, you could tell it's a model, but it's a beautiful model, and it just makes you feel all secure. Like, okay,
It's a model, but not as much.
I'm gonna be
Yes.
all right. Everything is this in the world is perfect and beautiful, and I can just relax. So there's something about this movie. But again, it's also another serious movie where Godzilla is still a villain. In this one, Godzilla is the bad guy in this fourth Godzilla film. And
They
this
even
one,
say in the
yeah.
subtitle when he's attacking, the radioactive monster, Godzilla is attack. Yeah, it just,
Yeah. Yes, and this one, unlike King Kong versus Godzilla, went back to a more serious tone. This one doesn't have the humor that the
Mhm.
third one does. I mean, there are a couple funny lines, like kind of cute lines, but it's not yuck laughs or continual themes. So, but the suit is also different too. It has these big eyebrows. We've lost that conical crocodilian look, but anyway, what do you guys think? Mothra versus Godzilla.
I mean, I personally enjoy. I mean, because I know when I first saw it, this is back when my teens, and this is at a time where I was starting to get more, with the films, because this is when we had cable and TNT was running these things like nonstop at the time. But yeah, the look of Godzilla in there, and then when he makes his appearance, I love
yeah.
I
I like
don't
that.
think that was a. I don't think anyone's done that before until this, showing him coming from underground. Because when you see it, it happens like, okay, what's going on? You see some rumbling, and then all of a sudden, tail pops up, and it's like, what the hell? It's like, oh, because I've been, because in my mind, it's like, where's Godzilla? He's not around. He's not even in the picture yet. Then all of a sudden, here's tail, and then he just rises up like one of them zombies in the movies, and just comes out. And like I say, like I've heard that Nakajima said this is probably one of his more prominent roles as Godzilla, because the way he really acts and everything.
Is
So
this the one where they? Oh,
no, go
they
ahead.
filmed it. They filmed like American scenes,
Yes.
like with rockets,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and like the suit caught on fire when
Yeah,
they did
yes.
it.
A couple
and
times
it-
the suit catches on fire. Yeah, a couple of those hit. I don't know if it was intentional or not. I can't tell if something got spilled on it.
No, I think
No,
that
it's just
that was
latex.
what you call a happy accident. That's what that
Okay.
was. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
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 No.
Um,
And just to add on to a question about that. Yeah, the missile sequence, that was totally for international artists. It was not done for Japanese audience. For some, and I was kind of like, why is it not in the Japanese cut? Because it's like, this is a good,
Or even a nice print of it. I would like to see the scenes. That'd be because they were good. I remember them being pretty good. It wasn't like,
hey, what can you say?
yeah, damn it, Toho.
I know, right?
So this one was always a classic. I always got this one and Mothra, just Mothra, mixed up because, well, they're both giant moths. But which one's the one where he makes his cocoon on the big radio tower?
That's Mothra.
That's Mothra.
That's Mothra.
Mothra.
Right.
Okay.
And remember, Mothra is and you know what? Not to discredit you, because you could call her him, but that's what they would say.
She's a female.
There's a female, but if you think about it, some years later, the sex of Mothra does change later on, but we won't get into all that political.
She's hermaphroditic.
Yeah, because when how we see Mothra in Mothra versus Godzilla is we see that egg. Is it's the egg. The Happy Enterprises, they want to take it, they put it under the big greenhouse.
That's right.
People can
Oh,
come
I
and pay
did
a
like the
premium
scene
price
where the fishermen go out when
and
they first
grab
go
it.
out to investigate
Yes, the gods will protect you.
Yeah, I do like that scene though when they're rowing out there. That's really good.
Yeah, the little tiny
the
models. You can
effects.
see the models. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I like the amount of how much the egg is worth. Like 933,038 yen. How do you get that number? It's quite simple. Like, how are you gonna get
the price of
38
eggs
on an evenly numbered? That didn't make any sense.
I mean, if you multiply, if you adjust that for inflation, I'm pretty sure that's going to be in the billions for sure.
Yes. Yes. But
yeah, but as I say again,
I'm assuming this is free range too. So
oh god.
But also in 1964, Toho brought out Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, where we are introduced to Ghidorah, the three-headed monster.
Yes.
Yes. Now, this one is one of my lesser liked entries. I've never really liked the movie that much, and maybe because I just need to give it a try and just pay attention to it.
No, it was just more of my introduction to Ghidorah.
Yeah,
And
there are other movies with
the
Ghidorah that are better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I agree. But at the time when I was watching these things, they weren't on all the time all together. So you saw one here and one here, and you saw them out of order. But what's kind of cool is that you started kind of connecting this universe together. I mean, I don't know if that was intentional at the time when they're making these things, but you kind of do that.
Well, they started the continuity with Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like once the second one was there, Godzilla raids again.
You're right.
Ends
in
an iceberg, and then he opens up in Kong, and then he swims out at the end of Kong, and then ends up in another part of Japan under the ground. So, there's or wherever it was the flood was washed him ashore or something. But so I think they were working that. Yeah, because
the context all this,
because they kept the Mothra legacy and the fairies and the Mothra song, because Mothra came out earlier. That was an earlier film, and also Rodan had came
Yeah.
out as well, which I think is like one of the best kaiju movies ever made.
Yeah.
Rodan.
Oh,
I agree.
Rodan's fantastic. I love that
Yeah.
movie.
It's a sad tale, that one.
Yeah, the
It is.
end still gets me. You know,
Those
it's like
bugs, the bugs are
yeah.
kind of goofy when they show the legs down, but that was tight.
But it's a creepy though,
What
the
you gonna
sound
do?
they make,
It's
and then
creepy,
the
though.
story
Yes,
is like it's like a horror story.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the mines and in the miners getting killed. I mean, that's scary stuff.
And I would, that's my thing. I wish they would have kept those bugs a little more in the dark.
Mhm.
Someone
A
else
more-
said that. Yes.
You know what I mean?
I thought their
I
eyes were
like
creepy.
how they kind of look, but boy, once you get when you pull back a little bit and see them walking and stuff, that kind of,
Well,
but
they
if you
had
had like that, you know, yeah.
I know the tech. So you got to remember the techniques that they had.
I know, I understand. I really understand that. And
But let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this. Do you think if they was to I hope they never do, but if they do, hopefully it's done in Toho. If they were to remake Rodan, would you feel more compelled to it being R-rated? Because like in the original Rodan, with the scene in the mines where the miners are getting like pretty much chopped up,
you
or
could go into that
would you want that
area. I don't know.
That could be
I
an
wouldn't
interesting way
mind
to do
being.
it.
I don't know if you
being
need to
that-
go full on gore about it,
But making it a
No, I
little
mean-
more like you could add that suspense to it, and that would actually be a good counterbalance to the story of that it's like you said, it's sad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the story of Rodan's basically just. I mean, she was trying to protect. Is that a male or a female?
There are two of them.
It's two
There
of
were
them.
two of them. That's right, and they're
There
trying
were
to
two.
protect
they're
their.
hermaphroditic. I don't know. Just
Yeah, because
And they
there
had
were
eggs.
two. They get like a Mothra thing. They kind of emerged.
they were brother sister or sister sister or brother brother whatever.
Right. Yeah, something like they're siblings. So
But
yeah.
they're just lost. They don't know where they're at.
Yeah, they
you know
didn't
what
mean
I mean?
they were, again, there's that tragic origin, just like Godzilla was awakened. Again, it's all through the hubris of people, and the mining is what did it. So again, we're talking about the human cause for these things, and it's the Shinto imagery is all there, the kami, the enraged gods. But yeah, but that's totally what it is. These creatures
and
wake
his
up.
atomic
Yeah.
shockwave.
Yeah, and then but the
Yeah.
design of Rodan, I remember when I was a kid, I had an Aurora model kit of a pterodactyl, and I pretended that was Rodan because there was no Rodan models at the time. There was no Rodan toys, but I had a pterodactyl, and that was close.
That's close enough.
That's right, close enough for me.
But the original Rodan, I think, is by far the best of any of the
Yes.
Totally.
But here's
reconstruct.
another one. I'm not trying to take over you, Mark. I'm just asking this question. This is something I love. I mean, and I think Rodan did it first. Where you
Am I back?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, my internet just went out.
Oh no, you're back,
We're
Fuad.
good.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. This is something I love about Super Raya at this time. The sequence where the water and everything, and air gets in everything. You see these cave-ins, and land just falls down into whatever. He does this so brilliantly in Rodan. He does it again in Atragon, and I think he did it again.
Oh, the Mysterians too.
In Mysterians.
Yes.
I mean, I love those.
Oh, with the massive whatever landslides,
Yes.
or whatever sinkholes.
It's brilliant. I love how they do that. I'm not sure how they did it, but I know it's and everything.
Atragon is one I wish they had a little more money with.
It's got to be like compacted sand and things like that, I would think, and dirt, because
And if you look, you can see the rods come out.
I think you do.
When they pull the rods out, so it like falls, but it's not bad. But if you're looking for them, you can see them. They're like, the dirt's falling.
And I have an eye for that stuff too. I'd be looking for those things. But
I think that was in the Mysterians. You could.
Yeah, Mysterians did it well too. I love that.
I love the Mysterians. That's another non-Godzilla one I like.
Yes.
Harkening back to Ghidorah, was that the first? Is that the first time aliens are introduced? The Godzilla.
I think it was. I think the time we actually were introduced to aliens in the mythos of Godzilla, because before it was just land animal, it was just Earth based, and the Ghidorah was the original.
Well, is it because he's just from outer space, so he's not
Right.
brought here by anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an alien, an
And
extraterrestrial.
it's like
Correct.
a Venusian ghost, right? Venusian ghost,
Something like that.
basically.
Yeah.
And now that I think
wasn't
about it,
so
he wasn't
big.
the original alien. I mean, he's I could say introduced to Godzilla, but Toho, this wasn't the first time we've introduced to aliens. We've had aliens.
No, the
no.
Mysterians.
No,
Yeah,
right,
we had the
yeah.
Mysterians, and that was 1957, I think.
Yes, 57.
And
But-
when did like
sorry.
I think and we had what was Battle in Space?
Battle
Was
in
that 60s?
59.
59.
Oh man,
So
I tried. I can't do
But
that one.
Ghidorah was
Okay.
not being controlled by alien. He
No.
was just an alien himself.
He
No,
was just
Oh, it's an
somebody-
alien creature. I don't think the control was there. They just brought him down here to to fuck things up. So
That's right. That's right.
yeah,
he was just
Right.
that's what he does. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
There is an element of control in the next movie that we will
Okay.
talk about. Which
Which
I'm thinking.
now
I
this
gotta-
is one of my comfort ones. I like this
Yes.
one this a lot.
Yes, this is one of my absolute favorite ones. Yeah. So Invasion of Astro Monster, Dr. Tarr. It's your comfort food.
It's one of them. It's yeah. It was this because it was like I remember this distinctly. It was like in the summer, real hot. You spend the whole day at the pool, then you come home. It's like 9:50 would be like showing all these monster movies. This, War of the Gargantuas, and I also think it was the first time I saw Frankenstein Conquers the World,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all kind of made about the same time too, and they had
Yeah,
Nick
mid
Adams.
60s. That's
And
right.
anyway,
Yeah, War of the Gargantuas was 1970.
Oh man, that's one of my favorites.
Oh, that one.
like that
that
one.
one. It is. There are a couple shots that still scare me. They creep me out at the deepest level. One of my favorites, maybe the best non-Godzilla kaiju movie. I always loved this as a kid. And the shot that scares me, I want to put it on a shirt because it's so creepy, is when the fishermen are out there and then they like look down in the ocean and you see Gyra
He's
like
looking up.
looking
Yeah,
right up
like
at him like,
thing.
I'm gonna eat you. Yeah. And the scene where Gyra runs
And it's
on-
the first time I was
onto the
introduced
airport.
to the
what he's
to
like.
the super science weaponry too. And it was
Yes,
just
yeah,
like,
the masers.
I mean, well, they did that with Mysterians too, I guess, but it was still part of that. It's like, where'd this come
Yeah,
from? But
yeah, the
it's like,
super
okay.
science. But that scene where he runs out onto the tarmac with the jets, like, oh god,
yeah.
that is so creepy and effective, so creepy.
And just sheer city stomping. That was that was fun. That was just fun.
Oh yeah, that was like I say because that you get to because
And it wasn't
Mr.
Ray
Nakajima,
Blasts or
yeah,
you know what I
you
mean?
could see his eyes when he's doing it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of like the suits. The suits were the shoulder pad things, and I really like the idea. I wish they would play up on this. I would love to see a remake of something like this. I wish they would play up the Frankenstein aspect of it. It was part of Frankenstein's heart and all that stuff, the monster, excuse me. But anyway, and growing into the two entities or whatever they are, But anyway,
yeah.
Yeah, those are all fantastic. I do like those. And you see a consistent look in this era of Toho stuff. The mid 60s, I think, this
they
is my
hit their
favorite part.
stride.
They really did. Yeah, and this is I love the Showa stuff. It's my favorite era of all of them. But there's something, and maybe because it's nostalgia, this is what I grew up looking at. But there is something so pleasant looking about these films, and it just pulls
They
me in
look
the sucker every
polished,
time.
is what they
Yeah,
do.
I mean, and I love the models, and I love knowing that they're models, and how good they are, and I like knowing that these are sets, and it's perfectly fine with me. It doesn't ever interfere. But Invasion of the Astro Monster, or known in Godzilla versus Monster Zero, a couple years later, I think one of the absolute best of the franchise. And now we have Toho kind of replicating Universal's big three. When they had House of Dracula,
Yep.
House of Frankenstein with
Yeah.
Dracula, with the Wolfman and Frankenstein. Now they have Godzilla, Mothra, and Rodan all together.
They have a stable.
Yeah,
So-
this is their big three fighting off King Ghidorah, and the set is great. I love Planet X. and the
the
set.
saucers. I love
Yeah,
the saucers.
The looks, the looks of the
And the
saucers.
optical effects at the time. To me, to this day, that's when I was a little kid, the rays and all that stuff that they used.
Mhm.
That was so cool to me. That was
Ooh.
you didn't see that in a lot of English movies. When they did think about it, like when they did Martians attacking or anything like, they were not, they just looked different. I thought they looked really neat. They kind of did that with in the Mysterians too, with that animated rays and stuff like that. But I think they hit their stride with this one though, and it just looks so cool.
They had
Especially when the rays, when they follow they just don't, they're not static, they move, and it was cool.
I don't know.
Now, is this the one where, correct me if I'm wrong, where they all get kidnapped and taken to the other planet?
The monsters are taken by the Ixians. They
Yeah.
find them to go help. The premise is they want to take the monsters to help
Which
fight
makes
against
sense, but
Ghidorah.
anyway.
That's right. This
up
was
on-
probably the first Godzilla movie I ever saw, and it was on Saturday morning.
Yeah. Perfect.
I can't remember who it was. Saturday morning after cartoons. It would have been Big Chuck.
Probably super host maybe.
Maybe Super
No, he
Host.
was-
Yeah.
Oh, even better.
And I just remember like the set, like you said. I just wanted to like play on that set, like the space.
When he's going down the hallway, and they follow the light. They tell him to keep following the light and stuff like that. And it was a simple hallway, but it looked cool with the fading of the light and stuff like that. And
that was very eerie.
That was
Well,
pretty
and
cool.
the environment that the monsters fought in, I really liked that because it was, it was different.
It was pure 60s space stuff. I
Yes.
had a lot of space toys, and it looked a lot like that stuff, and it was so cool.
And how do y'all feel about the Godzilla's famous Tokyo shade when he does that? I'm pretty sure you've heard the story. It's like, wow.
They were getting sillier. Well, starting to get a little sense of humor working its way, because there's the idea is after you see a monster so many times, the monster's not scary. So that's why they became. That's why they made Godzilla a friend. But now they were kind of giving Godzilla more culturally recognizable clues. Here's this dance. Here's this thing.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, it's kind of stands. It kind of sticks out to me like it doesn't belong, in that environment, but it doesn't bother me. But I just love the set so much. It's like watching Forbidden Planet. Like I just love watching that movie.
Ghidorah, though, too.
For
they
the
didn't
set.
need to be talking either. So
is this the one where he does the flying double kick?
No, that's
no,
Megalon.
That's Megalon. Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
he does a little more believable fighting in this one.
Yeah. This one they're on the like it looks like a very like a lunar surface with
lunar surface. That's
stalagmites and
Jupiter,
mountains and Jupiter's
beautiful painting of Jupiter.
Yeah, the mats. It's just so gorgeous. This set. That's one thing I like most about it. I mean, the look of this film. I love the
little turrets that would come out with the little rays.
Yeah,
that was.
Everything kind of lights up. It's it's kind of beautiful. And then you have the mind control element when the creatures are released and show up on Earth to wreak havoc. So now the Ixians are in control.
And they're supposed to take over the Earth, right? And all three of them are like right there next to each other in Japan with them. Okay, now spread out.
That's right.
You know what's funny? Now you know what's funny. The whole mission was like not just take over the world, but they were low on water. It's almost like it's a precursor to V, where they needed water, but also food. I mean, they don't mention it in Astro much, but
so stupid.
It's kind of weird. I know it's kind of weird, but it's like
and that's like okay if they're on fucking moon of Jupiter, you pretty sure there's a bunch of ice out there. But anyway,
there's ice. There's probably a lot of hydrogen.
That's about as stupid as the aliens from Sign coming to Earth. That's like 90%
No, we don't
water.
want to have to thaw it out.
Like,
come on.
we don't have any heat like that.
Yeah, no heat.
We have light, not heat.
Yeah. Sorry.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Now you say that, it's like, wouldn't the water freeze in deep space? Unless they have some heaters on the ships that they.
Well, yeah, that's how they transport them. Apparently they have the power source, so they can be zipping, almost at the speed of light back and forth. So
Yeah.
someone
we
has a
can't boil
power
the
source.
water.
Yeah. I don't think hot water is a problem.
Yeah. Because I'm saying they don't have the speed of light yet. So in fact, they don't have warp drive or the kind of
Well, they're
speed.
close.
Yeah.
They keep saying that. Oh, we're we make strides every day.
I mean, because like you say, they don't have the technology in Star Trek or in Star Wars. I'm like, y'all ain't there. I mean, y'all getting close, but y'all ain't there yet.
But they can move monsters between planets, though. So.
Yeah.
Well, you got to start
That's
small,
True.
move monsters around, and
Which
then
was one of the coolest scenes too, is when they pulled up Godzilla and Rodan,
Mm-hmm.
when they put them in those electronic eggs or whatever.
They're like,
Mhm.
I was gonna say, they're like in embryo mode too. If you notice that, I
Yeah,
mean, he's
yeah.
Godzilla have his tail, and then he's like, yeah,
And I loved when they
Mhm.
used the ray gun to cut out Rodan from the mountain.
Hmm.
That to me, that was one of the coolest scenes in that movie.
Yeah, it looks like that lightning coming down, and you see the eruption of the dirt, and it kind of
Yeah,
makes
and they
these
pull him out
circles.
with a different ray, and it was just
Yeah.
it was just cool.
Yeah, it's a great, and I like Tetsui with that noisemaker. I mean, what the worst, the lady guard alarm, and I love that saves the day.
And I don't know if y'all remember this now. His when he's when he's in the house, and I'm thinking that's his sister or whatever. You notice the baby when is on her back. Now you notice
Oh.
that when he comes when he comes up the stairs, you see an expression on the baby's face. But then when we cut back to the baby's kind of like has no expression
This
whatsoever.
is landlady.
He's just
yeah.
like, what the fuck is this? I was like, I mean, he just get. I'm like, look, I had to take my glass off really, but he just like no expression whatsoever. That's all he's getting. I'm like, geez, I mean, you still see all these bright lights, all these camera people in here. He's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Nah, man.
I'm like, that's probably one of the best acting infants I've ever seen on camera.
Well, I think that's going to wrap up part one, kiddies. Part one of our
but did we even
Godzilla
talk
talk.
about Nick Adams?
But we will on part two. We'll start with Nick
okay.
Adams because we got some great stuff. But the words get stuck in my throat. You can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com. Listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. If you're watching, that's where you're at. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you know someone who'd like our show, tell them about us. This has been Montag, Master of Illusion, and I will let everyone else do their own outros.
Okay. Like I say on my channel, I always say, y'all take care, y'all be patient, and always keep the kaiju love alive. There you go.
If you need any spooky masks or custom costumes for your next convention and or Halloween extravaganza, you can get a hold of me at PolarisBreachFX on Facebook and Instagram, and I pretty much can make anything you might be after.
Dr. Tarr.
And this is Dr. Tarr, and you've been listening to Unsane. Oh, sorry, wait. Heavy Metal Horror.
All right, guys, bring up the horns. This has been Heavy Metal.
This is also from Mesa of Lost Women, by the way.
Yes. Okay.
Excellent.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.